Hello everyone. Good Shepherds High School, Belapur. Welcome you all for online learning session. Standard 7th, Subject History, Unit History of Medieval India. Subunit Chapter 1, Topic Sources of History. Through this chapter, we will learn to identify the sources of medieval history of India, classify the sources of history, tell the importance of the sources in writing history, make attempt to preserve the sources of history. Dear children, we studied ancient Indian history last year. This year, we are going to study the medieval period of Indian history. Broadly, the period from the 9th century till the end of the 18th century is considered to be the medieval period. I will repeat it again. The period from the 9th century till the end of the 18th century is considered to be the medieval period of Indian history. In this lesson, we are going to study the sources of medieval history. Sources of history, in the second paragraph it is. History gives us a chronological, scientific and systematic account of past events. Whatever the story, whatever the things happened last in past years, that particular events are being organized properly in a chronologically, in a scientifically and systematic manner, and that thing is called as history. There are four factors very important from the viewpoint of history. They are called as four pillars also. Four pillars of history. They are individuals, society, place and time. History must be based on authentic evidence or proof. Real evidence or proof. These proofs are known as the sources of history. Okay children, the proof, evidence which are very true, that we study, we find out, and then only it has been noted down in the history, and these proofs are known as the sources of history. Let us classify these sources into material sources, written sources and oral sources to learn more about them. Let us also evaluate the sources of history. We have to consider many factors related to the historical event that we want to study. It is necessary to support our study with historical sources. These sources have to be verified, means to check. We have to see whether they are authentic, whether they are true, they are fact, all the things have been written in, are they fact. It is necessary to use these sources judicially and only after a critical analysis. Judicially means what children? Judicially means a wise and sensible judgment. Wisely we have to see, check, we have to analyze it properly. Detailed study we have to do in a critical manner. Then only we can note down the information in history. Forts have an important place among material sources. Children, material sources means, materialistic things means what? What are non-living things, but we can see. They are material sources. Some major types of forts are hill forts, forest forts, sea forts and forts on the plains. Monuments include monuments means प्राचीन काल में जो चीज़ें दिखी जाती हैं, समाधिज, graves, वीरगाला, and buildings include palaces, ministerial mansions, queen's quarters, Rani Vasa, and also houses of common people. Children, you all have seen the picture, Mughal means that Hrithik Roshan's movie is there, Mughal-e-Azam or something, not Mughal-e-Azam, Jodha Akbar. Yes, now recently it was, means last few years back. You must have watched, or you better watch that movie, Jodha Akbar's. That all mentions that movie may show all the forts, their palaces, all the their standard of living, how they used to live, their food, their diet, their clothing, and everything they have showed in that picture, Jodha Akbar. So please, children, watch that so that you will get clear picture how the medieval period was. Okay, children. I will repeat it again. Forts have an important place among material sources. So some major types of forts are hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, and forts on the plains. Monuments includes samadhis, graves. Now samadhi like Taj Mahal is also kind of a samadhi only. Graves, Veergala, and buildings include palaces, ministerial mansions, queen's quarters, Rani Vasa, and also houses of common people. They all provide information about that period. Looking at them, we come to know about the development of architecture. You watch that movie, children, it will be very much clear to you all. The economic conditions. Economic conditions means आर्थिक व्यवस्था उनकी, पैसे, धन दौलत, ये सब. The quality of art, style of the building construction, and people's standard of living in that particular period. So physical sources, that is called material sources. You will find memorials, buildings, cave sculptures, inscriptions, coins, copper plates, forts. With the help of this as an evidence, and it's a source, I said material source, physical source means a material source. With the help of this, the history has been written. Okay, children? Now, can you tell how do coins narrate history? If you will see coins, no, children, you will come to know. See the inscription, art of writing. This shows many things. This is a coin of the Peshwa period, a coin of Hyder Ali. See how they have inscribed goddess, god, and then some Urdu, Arabic languages, signs. This shows, this explain us many things. With the help of this, that archaeological people, they have studied on this coin, and then they have written history. Okay, do you know? No, not here. Yes. Next, let's learn. Since ancient times, coins like kaudi, damdi, dhela, pai, paisa, ana, and rupee were used. These were the coins previously for the transaction they used to use. Some local idioms or proverbs are based on coins. Old people used to say, एक फुट की कौड़ी देणार नहीं. I will not give a single pie also. Here, futki kavdi means the lowest bit of money. 16 आना सच means 100% true. Children, I can ask you all कि coins in ancient times, what were the names of coins during ancient times? You have to write these names, kavdi, damdi and all. And if I'll ask you the question, give proverbs based on coins. So you have to write this with explanation. Okay, children. Next, the coins made by different rulers using metals like gold, silver, copper are important sources of history. From these coins, we learn about the rulers, their period, governance, religious ideas, personal details, etc. I will repeat it again. Coins, the coins made by different rulers using metals like they used these metals, gold, silver, copper, and they were important sources of history. From these coins, we come to know about the rulers and their period, how they governed, how the government was, how their religious ideas were, and their personal details we came to know. Similarly, we also learn about the financial transactions and economic conditions prevailing at that time. Means financial transactions, what kind of transactions they used to use, how their economic conditions were, everything we came to know with the help of coins. We also see how far metallurgy had advanced in that period. Metallurgy means study of metals. How much advanced it was, that also we studied. Now from the images of Ram Sita on the coins of Emperor Akbar or Shiva Parvati on the coins of Hyder Ali, we see the religious coordination of those days. How coordinately they were surviving that time. There were no casteism, religion, this, that, nothing it was. Hyder Ali, a Muslim emperor, he inscribed Shiva and Parvati on the coins. Emperor Akbar, he inscribed Ram and Sita. Then why we, this in current scenario, why we should believe like this? This person is Hindu, Muslim. We should never see casteism, because we are educated. We are educating ourselves. So such kind of personality should never keep differences. Okay, children. The Peshwas used the Arabic or Persian language on their coins. See, Peshwas use Arabic. Arabic and Persian language means that time Arabic means Urdu language and all that kind of a language they used to use. Who? Peshwas. Bajirao Mastani, you have watched movie, right? So Bajirao was a Peshwa. So these things, they were never keeping difference. They never kept any differences among the castes and religions like. Okay, this throws light on the use of language in that period. Yes, different types of languages also been used, means we come to know that people were knowing Arabic languages, Persian language from since that period. So this gives us a correct information by seeing all these things. An inscription is a carving on a stone. Inscription means what? Writing. What kind of a writing? Stylish writing. Okay, children? An inscription is a carving on a stone or a wall, etc. For example, the inscriptions found in the Brihadishwara temple premises in Tanjavur. Many inscriptions of the period of Chalukya. See, these are the coins of Peshwa period. This is the coin of Hyder Ali. Peshwa period, that time Arabic and Persian language they used to use. And Hyder Ali, see Hyder Ali, what he has, Shiva and Parvati images they have inscribed here. See, okay, children. Then many inscriptions of the period of Chalukya, Rashtrakuta, Chola, Yadav kingdom, these are all kings, have been found. An inscription is considered to be very important and reliable source of history because it was giving a clear picture. So that's why that source was very reliable. It helps us to understand features like the language, script, social life of a period. Inscriptions carved on the sheets of copper. Some inscriptions are done on the sheet of copper are known as copper plates. Big royal edicts and verdicts etc. are inscribed on copper plates. You know what do you mean by edicts and verdicts? Edicts means an order given by officer and verdicts means a decision made by a jury. Important people, they used to make a decision, that is called verdict, are inscribed on copper plates. So this is very important. Inscription carved on sheets of copper are known as copper plates, and these royal edicts, Raja Maharajaओं का edict or edicts and verdicts. Let me give you again explanation of edicts. Edict means an officer gives order, that also was inscribed on the copper plates, and verdicts means a decision taken by big officials or by jury. Okay, children. Now, do you know Chaityas, Viharas, temples, churches, mosques, agyaris, dargahs, Maqbaras, Gurudwaras, monuments, sculptures, wells, minarets, village boundaries and gates, weapons, utensils, ornaments, clothes, decorative articles, toys, implements, musical instruments are all material sources of history. Okay, children? Now, the next source is written source. We learn about significant historical events in the medieval period from sources like the writing styles of scripts like Devanagari, Arabic, Persian, Modi, etc. These are writing style, children, as also from the varieties of different languages. Bhurja Patras, religious manuscripts, treatises, edicts, decrees, biographies, paintings, etc. These are all different languages. Bhurjapatra, religious manuscript, these are all evidence kept, and with the help of this we have written the history. We can gather information about the food items, attire means clothing, conventions. What do you mean by conventions, children? Conventions means in a traditional way, and rules of conduct of the people, festivals, and about people's life, etc. from these sources. Okay, we can gather information about the food items, attire, conventions, and rules of conduct of the people, festivals, and about people's life, etc. from these sources. Sources of this type are called written sources of history. These Bhurjapatras, religious manuscript means everything, it is in writing form. Okay, so that's why they are called as written sources of history. Children, see here the table they have given, written sources. Documents of proceedings in the courts of kings. genealogies, Shakavali, correspondence, dispatches, judicial verdicts, orders, treatise, biographies, travelogues of foreign travelers, chronicles, Taurik. These all things are written sources which we found in writing inscribed or in painting form. During this period, travelers from other countries came to India. They have written travelogues, means kind of a guide, travel guide, or accounts of their travels, where they traveled and all everything they have written. Some of them are who the people those who have traveled from other countries to India. Al Biruni, Ibn Battuta, Nicole Manuki, Babur's biography, Shri Shiv Bharat, or the Sanskrit biography of Shivaji Maharaj, composed by the poet Paramanand, as well as various other biographies of different rulers and their correspondence, help us to understand the policies and administrative systems of the rulers and their diplomatic relations with others. Everything was mentioned in the biographies and all. So children, it was very easy to understand what happened in that medieval period, what kind of their policies were, what were the administrative systems of the rulers, and how their diplomatic relations were there. Okay children, next, Tawrik or Tarik means the sequence of events. Tawriks written by Al Biruni, Ziauddin Barani, Maulana Ahmad, Yahya bin Ahmad, Mirza Haidar, Bhimsen Saxena, etc. are available. They have written these all, means the sequence of events in the Tawriks. These people have written. So with the help of this also we got lot of information. Bakar is a type of chronicle that originated in Maharashtra. Chronicle means it's a kind of a history. It originated in Maharashtra. Chronicles help in understanding aspects like the contemporary political happenings, linguistic transactions, cultural life, social conditions, etc. Many of the chronicles in Marathi were written many years after the events had occurred. Late they have written, but they have written, mentioned. As a result, they are seen to rely on hearsays. Hearsays means rumors. Okay, as a result, they are seen to rely on rumors because it was written very late, no? That's why. 100% sure people were not like, because the things were happened very long back and they have written here now. So it was quite difficult to keep trust on it. So some of these chronicles are Mahikwatichi Bakhar, Sabhasad Bakhar, Chitnisanchi Bakhar, Bhausaibachi Bakhar, etc. These are the types of Bakhars. The works of contemporary Western historians like Robert Arm, M.C. Sprengel, and Grant Duff are also important. So this all Bakhar is a type of chronicle that originated in Maharashtra, and this all in this thing, whatever the happenings were there, political happenings, linguistic transactions, everything were mentioned in it. But it was written many years after the events had occurred. So that's why they were hearsays, means sometimes means not so much reliable. But then too, some of these chronicles are, they have given the names, the types of Bakhars. You have to mention whenever we will ask you, okay, in the exams. So do this, make a collection of Povadas, tribal songs, present them in the cultural programs arranged in your school. Okay, we will try it. Now, Third one is oral source. Children, oral source, we understand various aspects of folk life through folk literature traditionally passed on from generation to generation. Some examples are ovis, folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths. See these oral sources, they have written the names: folk songs, gatha, shlokas, abhangas, povadas, proverbs, legends, myths. These are all oral sources. Okay. Some examples are ovis, folk song, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths. Such type of sources are called oral sources of history. Now, how orally? Because abhangas and all, they all people used to gather like bhajan, abhanga, kirtanas, and in with the that was a source to uh, impart knowledge whatever happened in past. History is written with the help of the three types of sources mentioned above. Even after it has been written down, research on it goes on continuously. New sources and information come to light through this research. Then history has to be written accordingly. We can see that our history books and those of our parents and grandparents differ to a certain extent. Our grandparents must be telling some different story, but whatever in the books is, that is also a means that is uh, analyzed properly, critically thought, and then written it. That's why we can have a trust on these textbooks. Do you know the Povada of Tanaji? You all must have watched everyone Tanaji movie, right? Given below is an extract from a Povada composed by Tulsidas Shahir. He portrays the Kondhana campaign in it. The Povada contains beautiful character sketches of Tanaji, Shelar Mama, Shivaji Maharaj, Veer Mata Jijabai, etc. I will read for you all. मामा बोलाया तो लागला 80 वर्षीचा म्हातारा लगीन राहिले रायबाचे तो मजला सांगावी माझ्या तानाजी सुभेदारा जे गेले सिंहगडाला त्याचे पाठीरे पाहिले नाही पुढारे पाहिले ज्याने आंबारे खाईला बाटा बुजरा लाविला त्याचे झाड होऊनी आंबे बांधले किल्ला हाती नाही आला सिंहगड किल्ल्याची वार्ता काढू नको तानाजी सुभेदारा जे गेले सिंहगडाला ते मरुनशानी गेले तुमचा सपाटा होईल असे बोलू नको रे मामा आम्ही सूरमर्द क्षत्री नाही भिणार मरणाला. With these are the povadas, means how we speak sentences. They used to speak in a poetic manner. Okay, children. So these are also sources of these are oral sources of history. Now, suggest measures for preserving sources of history. I will ask you in the class. Evaluating the sources of history. Evaluate karna means tapasni. It is necessary to take certain precautions before using these sources of history. We have to examine their authenticity, means किती खरं आहे ते, and see which are genuine and which are fake. ये हमें पता चलना चाहिए. Their quality can be determined with the help of internal standards. We also have to study the integrity. What do you mean by integrity, children? Integrity means honestly commitment of the writers, their personal interest, the period in which they live, and the political pressures on them, everything we have to see. It is also important to see whether they rely on hearsay or give an eyewitness account. We have to see, find out they are only writing the rumors or they were there that time, or they have seen the sources. Which source? Written source, material source. They are eyewitnessed, then only they can write. We need to consider the exaggerations, metaphors, and other literary devices they use. The information has to be verified, cross checked with the help of other contemporary sources. The information may be one sided, contradictory, or exaggerated. Means वाढून चढून बोलणं. It has to be seen in the proper perspective. The sources have to be subjected to a critical analysis. The author's impartiality and neutrality are very important in writing history. These things are very important, children, that they are, whether they are telling truth or they are writing under pressure of political leaders and all. These all things we have to evaluate, means to cross check. Okay, children. Now we'll go on exercise. Okay, complete the names of the following sources of history. Now we read many things. Now this legend, legend, is a source of history. Then Tarikh, Tarikh. Bakhar, Bakhar. Powada, Powada. Inscription, Inscription. Monument, Monument. Okay, children. Now let's write. What do monuments include? Yes. What do monuments include? I will dictate, you write it down. Okay. Monuments include samadhis, graves, virgala, and buildings include palaces, ministerial mansions, queen's quarters, and houses of common people. That is also in the textbook. See this, page number 1, last paragraph. Next, what is a Tarikh? Tarikh means the sequence of events. Tarikh, here they have mentioned, no? Yeah, this Tawrik or Tarikh means the sequence of events. Okay. What qualities of the author are important in the writing of history? What qualities of the author are important in the writing of history? They should be very impartial and neutral. See this, the author's impartiality and neutrality are very important in writing history. Last line of the lesson. Okay, children. Now find odd one out. Material sources, written sources, unwritten sources, oral sources. Obvious, unwritten sources is the odd man out. Monument, coins, cave, sculptures, stories. Stories are odd man out. Bhurjapatras, temples, treaties, paintings. Temples are odd man out. Temples have been built now. Ovis, tarikhs, folk tales, myths. Tarikh, rest others are oral source. Write the following concept: material sources, written sources, and oral sources. You have to write it down. So children, you can write that paragraph of material sources, written sources, and oral sources. Okay. See, material sources. It is in the textbook here. Material sources. Where it is written? Material source. Children, I will dictate because it is there in the textbook, but see, the material source of history includes memorials, buildings, caves, sculptures, inscriptions, coins, copper plates, and forts. Forts as a type of material sources includes hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, and forts on land. Monuments gives us an insight of the architectural style, economic conditions, as well as the people's standard of living in that area. Sorry, in said era. Coins tells us about the rulers, their period, governance, religious ideas, financial transactions, economic conditions, and development of metallurgy of that time. They also throw light on the use of language in that period. An inscription help us to understand features like the language, script, and social life of a period. An inscription is carved on stone or a wall as well as on sheet of copper known as copper plates. Royal edicts and verdicts are inscribed on copper plates. Okay, children, these things you have to write it down. Then written sources. Documents of proceedings in the courts of kings, judicial verdicts, orders, treatises, biographies, genealogies, Shakavali, correspondence, dispatches, travelogues of foreign travelers, chronicles, and Taurik are types of written sources of history. Okay, children. They were written in different scripts such as Modi, Devanagari, Arabic, and Persian. They throw light on the food items, attire, conventions, rules of conduct of the people, festivals, as well as social life of the era. The travelers' accounts, biographies of various rulers, and their correspondence helps in understanding the policies and administrative systems of the rulers and their diplomatic relations with others. Children, if I am fast, you can rewind it back and then again you have to listen and write it down. Similarly, chronicles helps in understanding aspects like the contemporary political happenings, linguistic transactions, cultural life, and the social conditions of the particular period. Okay, that is a written source. And oral source, this is from here you can write oral source. Oral various aspects of folk life are traditionally passed on from one generation to other through folk literature. Some of the examples of folk literature are ovis, folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths. Such type of sources are called oral sources. Gathas, shlokas, abhangas are also including in oral sources of history. Okay, children. Is it necessary to evaluate sources of history? Give your opinion. Yes, it is necessary, na children? Yes, it is necessary to evaluate sources of history. One has to be careful in examining the authenticity of the source and see whether they are genuine or fake. Correct, children? One should also keep in mind the integrity of the writers, their personal interest, the period in which they lived, and the political pressure on them. Everything we have to consider. It needs to be checked whether the writer has written an eyewitness account or it is relied on hearsay. Hearsay means rumors. Thus, their material should be verified with other contemporary sources. Lastly, the information shouldn't be one sided, contradictory, or exaggerated. Okay, children? This much is enough for you all. Now, write why in your words. A stone inscription is considered to be an authentic source of history. What is the reason behind it that this is a true source of history? They are saying a stone inscription. What is the reason? Yes, children? A stone inscription is considered to be an authentic source of history because it helps us in understanding various features like the language, script, and social life of a period. Okay, next. Oral sources reveal various aspects of people's life. Yes, oral sources such as ovis, folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths throws light on various aspects of folk life. As these folk literature are passed on from generation to generation, it gives an idea on the changing social, political, as well as religious scenario of the eras. Okay, here our lesson gets over, children.